Close your eyes just for a second and allow the restless edges of the world to soften, as if existence itself has paused to take a breath with you. Because what you are about to sense is not merely a sound meant for the ears, but a presence meant for the deepest layers of awareness. Imagine a vibration, not something loud or intrusive, but something ancient and patient. A frequency that existed long before the first star dared to ignite its nuclear fire, long before the Earth learned how to carry oceans on its skin, and even before time understood how to move forward. In the ancient heart of India, in forests where silence was so deep it felt alive, sages heard this vibration in the stillness of their own consciousness, and they gave it a name that was not invented but remembered. They called it OM. For centuries, the modern world looked at this sound with curiosity mixed with skepticism, placing it gently into the category of belief and mysticism. And yet today, standing at the very edge of modern science, with machines that can listen to the birth echoes of the universe itself, humanity is beginning to lean closer and to ask a question that feels both daring and inevitable. What if this single sacred syllable is not symbolic at all? What if it is the literal background hum of everything that ever was, everything that exists now, and everything that will ever come into being? To understand this, the mind must travel outward into the vast, dark ocean of space. NASA's deep space probes recorded low-frequency resonances rippling through cosmic matter, a slow, eternal breath. When scientists converted these signals into audible sound, they heard something haunting, a deep, continuous hum, resonant and expansive, as though the universe itself was chanting in a language older than words. To those familiar with the slow, rhythmic intonation of Om echoing through Himalayan valleys, the similarity is impossible to ignore. The cosmos, it seems, is not quiet. It is vibrating. Would you like me to find more information about these NASA space recordings or the science behind cosmic vibrations? 5,000 years ago, long before telescopes or satellites, the Vedic sages spoke of this truth not through equations, but through inner vision refined by discipline, meditation, and profound stillness. They said the universe was born not from randomness but from sound, from a primordial vibration they called Sabda Brahman, the absolute experienced as sound. In the Shiva Purana, this idea unfolds with breathtaking depth. Before creation, there was Shiva, not as a figure seated in meditation, not as a god with form, but as pure consciousness itself, infinite, unchanging, complete. There was no space, no direction, no time, only boundless awareness resting in itself. From this stillness emerged Shakti, the dynamic power of expression, the urge of consciousness to know itself. And when Shiva and Shakti touched, when stillness met movement, the first vibration trembled into existence. That vibration was Om's. It was not spoken by a mouth. It was not formed by breath. It happened as existence awakening to itself. Silence curved gently into sound, and creation began. The sages described Oms as containing the entire story of the universe within its vibration. The sound begins with A, the open, expansive resonance of birth, the moment when energy flows outward, becoming light, becoming matter, becoming stars, galaxies, and living worlds. It then transforms into U, the sustaining vibration, the frequency that holds atoms together, that keeps planets in their orbits, that allows life to breathe, grow, and evolve. Finally, it settles into M, the closing hum of dissolution, where form slowly releases itself back into potential, where endings are not destruction but return. And beyond these three sounds lies the silence that follows the chant, a silence so complete it cannot be described, known in the tradition as Turiya, the fourth state of consciousness, where Shiva exists beyond creation, preservation, and dissolution. In this way, Oms is not just a chant. It is a living map of reality, a sonic blueprint of how existence unfolds and returns. As modern physics peers deeper into the nature of matter, it finds itself walking a path that uncannily mirrors these ancient insights. At the most fundamental level, matter is not solid. Atoms are mostly empty space, with electrons behaving not like tiny balls but like waves of probability, vibrating in specific patterns. Beneath particles lie quantum fields, invisible oceans of energy that fluctuate constantly, giving rise to mass and form through vibration. Some of the most advanced theories of modern science suggest that the universe, at its core, is made not of objects, but of oscillations. Tiny vibrating strings of energy, each frequency producing a different particle, much like different notes arising from a single instrument. Reality, in this view, is not constructed from things, but from sound-like vibrations. The universe is not a machine assembled from parts. It is a symphony in motion. In the Shiva Purana, this cosmic symphony is embodied in Shiva as Nataraja, the lord of the cosmic dance. His dance is not entertainment. It is creation itself unfolding rhythmically. With one movement, universes arise. With another, they are sustained. With another still, they dissolve back into silence. In his hand, Shiva holds the damaru, the small drum, whose beat is said to generate the sound of ohms, the pulse that sets time and space into motion. This imagery is not merely poetic. It is an ancient way of expressing a truth that science is only beginning to articulate, that rhythm and vibration are the language of existence. Yet this mystery is not confined to distant galaxies or abstract theories. It lives within you, quietly, intimately, waiting to be felt. Every cell in your body vibrates. Your heart does not simply beat, it oscillates, sending rhythmic waves through blood and tissue. Your brain functions through electrical frequencies, shifting patterns of vibration that correspond to thought, emotion, and awareness. Even your emotions have frequencies, subtle energetic signatures that influence your body in ways science is now beginning to measure. Fear tightens and accelerates these rhythms, while peace slows and harmonizes them. When you chant Om slowly, allowing the sound to rise from the depths of the abdomen, pass through the chest, and resonate in the skull, you are not performing a symbolic ritual. You are introducing a coherent, ancient frequency into your nervous system. Modern studies have observed that chanting Ohms calms the amygdala, the brain's center of fear and stress, while activating areas associated with emotional regulation and self-awareness. The prolonged exhalation involved in chanting stimulates the vagus nerve, shifting the body out of survival mode and into a state of rest and repair. Heart rate slows, blood pressure decreases, and the mind, usually crowded with endless thoughts, begins to quiet, like a lake settling after a storm. In yogic science, this is called alignment. Your personal vibration, distorted by stress, distraction, and noise, is gently brought back into resonance with the larger rhythms of nature. The Shiva Purana speaks of this process not as relaxation, but as remembrance. The soul, it says, is not a fragile fragment struggling in an indifferent universe. It is a spark of the same consciousness that gave rise to creation. Through sound, through ohms, the soul remembers its origin. This is why the chant feels different from ordinary sound. It does not demand effort. It invites surrender. As the vibration fills you, there comes a moment, subtle yet unmistakable, when the boundary between the one who chants and the sound itself begins to dissolve. You are no longer chanting ohms. Ohms is unfolding through you. In ancient ashrams, this understanding was lived rather than explained. Students sat with their teachers in silence for hours, not seeking information, but absorbing presence. The slow, collective chanting of ohms would rise and fall like a tide, stretching time, dissolving urgency. In those moments, the sense of a separate self softened, replaced by a quiet belonging to something vast and intelligent. The Purana tells us that even the gods meditate upon ohms, that Brahma creates through it, Vishnu sustains through it, and Shiva dissolves into it. It is the thread that binds all divine functions into one unified reality. What makes this ancient wisdom so striking is not just its depth, but its relevance. In a world saturated with noise, notifications, and constant stimulation, the human nervous system rarely finds true rest. We live in a continuous state of alertness, and over time, this erodes not just health, but meaning. The ancient response to this condition was not escape, but attunement. Rather than adding more effort, more control, or more noise, the sages returned to the original vibration, trusting that alignment with it would naturally restore balance. When you chant ohms even once, you participate in this lineage. You echo the first vibration that rippled through the void. You join the cosmic hum that still resonates through stars and atoms alike. And in doing so, you create a small sanctuary of coherence within yourself, a reminder that peace is not something to be achieved in the future, but something to be remembered in the present. There is a moment after the chant ends that is often overlooked. The lips close, the breath pauses, and silence returns. But it is no longer empty. It feels full, alive, as though the sound has carved out a space for awareness to rest. In the Shiva Purana, this silence is where the deepest truth resides. Sound can guide you to the threshold, but silence is the doorway. It is here that Shiva is known not as a dancer or a deity, but as pure being, beyond name, beyond form, beyond vibration itself. Ohms leads you back to the source, but silence is the source. Modern science, too, is beginning to recognize the importance of coherence, rhythm, and silence in human well-being. What was once dismissed as spiritual symbolism now appears as a sophisticated understanding of biology and consciousness, encoded in myth rather than mathematics. This does not reduce the spiritual tradition. It reveals its precision. So when you hear ohms, whether echoing through a temple, vibrating softly in a meditation hall, or whispered quietly within your own breath, remember that you are not engaging with a belief. You are tuning into a reality that has always been present. The universe is not something happening outside of you. It is vibrating within you, expressing itself through breath, heartbeat, and awareness. And perhaps this is the quiet invitation hidden within the ancient sound. In a civilization that never stops shouting, that mistakes speed for progress and volume for truth, the most profound act may be to listen, to slow down enough to hear the hum beneath everything, not as an escape, but as a return. If, as you listened, you felt even a faint sense of calm, a gentle softening of the chest, a clarity settling behind the eyes, know that this is not imagination. It is resonance. It is your system remembering a frequency it has always known. And long after this moment fades, that vibration continues, steady and patient, waiting for you. Because the universe is not just around you, scattered across distant stars and theories. It is here, breathing with you, humming quietly in every cell, inviting you, again and again, back into harmony.